Hi. Sorry I'm late, guys. Give me 1 second. I'm walking this door. Okay. Sorry I'm late. I had a call with my coach at 1, and we normally only take about an hour and a half, but today was a 2-hour session. All right. This is your collective full moon tarot reading for the month of August. Actually going to have 2 this month, so you'll get an extra tarot reading this month, from me at least. There may be other readings as well. So I'm going to do the format we normally do. So it doesn't really have anything to do with the moon. We use the moon as a clock. And what goes on in nature and in the outside world, in the cosmos and in nature on our planet, is really just a reminder to look at the cycles and the systems and the phases that we're going through on the inside. And so we use that as a guide to help us to keep track. And so this month coming up, we are looking into general energy, and we're going to talk about the general energy for the collective with 1 card. And then we're going to talk about the goal, what we should be focusing on. And then we'll talk about what the obstacle is, and the obstacle is also the thing that we're grateful for, right? So it's a gift and a challenge at the same time, right? So our challenges are our lessons learned. So the general energy, the goal, the idea, the general overall goal for what we want to do with this month, what we should be focusing on, and then the ally. Who we can look to, which archetype, which face of the one can we look to for assistance in the month ahead. So as I shuffle through the cards, I shuffle a lot more than quite a lot of people do. And I do it because I like to try to touch all of the cards as I'm going through, because it kind of is acknowledging each and every one of the archetypes in the deck. Because we are all really one, right? And there really only is one consciousness, one collective. And the archetypes are all phases of the one. They are phases of our journey, of this journey that humanity takes while we're here on Earth. And each card is just a little piece of the puzzle, that part of the story from that perspective. The story that we can all relate to, which is the hero's journey. There's a book called Man with a Thousand Faces by a man named Joseph Campbell. And he was into and talking about the archetypes, I think, even before Carl Jung was. All right. Who's the ally this month? And then I'll read them for you. And then I'm going to pull from the Sacred Creators Oracle deck as well. Oh, there we go. Ooh. Okay. So the general goal, the general energy of this moment, this month looking forward, is harmony, is teamwork. It is passion, but being passionate about things that we value. It is forming partnerships and relationships. It's collaboration. It's cooperation. It's exactly what I'm trying to do with this group. It is the Lover's card. It is partnerships and amicable relationships, relationships between two people or more who are on the same path and looking for the same types of outcomes. So people that have the same core values and that are invested in the same thing. So this is telling me that the collective conscious right now seems to be, I know it's hard to believe sometimes, but sometimes we really are all on the same page. And the collective conscious seems to be, at this moment in time, moving toward a state of cooperation and collaboration together. And that's building strength, right? And it's building resilience, and it's building harmony for everything else on the planet at the same time. Now, I always forget what order I'm doing these in. I don't know why I've been doing these for months and months. I always forget what order I'm doing it in. The goal of the month is to create financial security, to create better relationships with our family, to look at the bigger picture. So in this month going forward, our intentions, our goals, our focus is to be on building things for the long term. So we're playing the long game right now. We are looking to, if we have to sacrifice a little bit now for the outcome in the long run, is that worth it? What can we do now what can we sacrifice now? What can we, maybe not even sacrifice, maybe just what can we do without? Not give up something that we already have, but what can we do without having right now? What is it that is close to us right now that we could reach out and grab, but that we can leave on the table? Because if we wait a while, the next best thing is going to be something that will last a lot longer. So we're looking at the long run. We're looking at what decisions that we can make right now for the greater good of the long term game. And that is in wealth, that is in financial security, that is in family matters, it is in investments and opportunities. Amazing. Okay, so the challenge is also the obstacle. The obstacle and the challenge are at the same time the blessings and the gifts, right? They're the lessons that we need to learn, right? So whatever stands in our way turns into the lesson that we need to learn, and then turns into the gift and the completion of a lesson learned. And that is how to chase pleasure, how to feel joy in this present moment. It is overcoming negativity, it's overcoming depression, it's overcoming sadness. So the obstacle is overcoming self-centeredness and overcoming arrogance and overcoming healing the inner child. And the gift will be the gift of positivity and the gift of pleasure and joy and the gift of success. And it's like a rebirth where something has to die for something else to come to life. This is pleasure, happiness, vitality, joy, peace, comfort. So the lesson is to overcome the opposite. So we're going to be looking at overcoming, being too focused on success, being too focused on success only in a certain way, being too overly optimistic and refusing to look at the actual facts. we're going to be overcoming arrogance, where we have been short-sighted in our own shortcomings. We are going to be overcoming our own tendency to be careless with things in the pursuit of something better. Because remember, we're looking long-term, right? So we want to be looking at long-term. So the gift on the other side of this will be a rebirth. It will be, it'll be experiencing fun and joy, and it'll be experiencing moments of celebration, being able to sit in pleasure, true positivity, not the kind of positivity that is toxic or forced. And then our ally for this month. Our ally is going to be rest and relaxation. Our ally is going to be deep contemplation. It's going to be renewal. It'll be retreating into or back from forcing. We won't be charging into the things that we do this month. We're going to be moving a little more slowly, a little bit more with intention. We want to spend time meditating. We want to calm down our central nervous system and relax into a state of intuition, a state of awareness, of listening to the inside rather than the outside. That's what's going to benefit us the most this month. Because if we don't, what we're risking is exhaustion, and we're risking burnout and stagnation even, or sitting with entirely too much stress, which is just not good for us, no matter how. It's not good for our goal either. Or even overcoming a state of perpetual restlessness, so that we can have that inner peace, and so that we can have that consistent alignment in the long run, because we're looking at the long run here. So if we have to collaborate with people that we weren't choosing to collaborate with necessarily, whether we thought we were on this path alone and others are joining us on this path, that's okay. If we were passionate about something, but then we realize that it doesn't really align with our values, it's okay to rethink that. This is about making choices from the heart space. And it's going to, in the long run, bring wealth and security and financial gain, but it's going to bring long-term success. It's going to bring long-term benefits for you and your family. It's going to bring positivity and pleasure and happiness and stability. But first, we have to overcome inner child issues. We have to overcome depression and the tendency of looking down on things. We have to look over, pay attention to our tendency to be arrogant or careless. And in the long run, this month, for the long-term goal, our best ally is going to be resting and meditating and contemplating before we make decisions. The tarot had a lot to say today. I'm actually going to keep these cards separate because I'm keeping a tarot journal, and I want to write down those meanings, because I want to write down which cards we pull for each of these, so that at the end of the year I can go back through them and see what our messages were and kind of create like a report for the year. Although I just came up with that idea recently and I haven't done it yet. I would like to start doing that now, and maybe by the end of the year have like a 6-month and then I could do a reading based on that, if that makes sense. Something I'd like to start doing for the group. That way we can keep track of the messages that we get and how well we execute listening to them, and how much the messages change and our goals and our focuses change throughout the year. And I'd also like to see if we can come up with any insight on how that changes depending on the season. Because I've noticed it's August 2nd, right? I've noticed this time of year, and this is the last 2 years in a row I've noticed it. At this time of year, the humidity goes away. It's still hot in the sun, but the humidity goes away, at least where I am. And we'll still have a couple days that are humid and hot, but you start to get this feeling in the air of fall kind of coming. And this is where I work best. So this is where I am the most social. This is where you're going to catch me being more focused. This is where I'm going to work harder. This is where I have the most energy to spend on anything. And so August, September, October, and even November, those are the 6 months out of the year that I'm going to probably achieve the most. And so this is important. This is why we follow the seasons. This is why we follow the phases of the moon. This is why we pay attention to the wheel of the year. Because if you look at the outside world, you'll understand that it's just a mirror for what you have going on inside in some way or another, on some level or another. I am usually more active in the summer than I am in the winter. But if it's too hot, that will also keep me from functioning at my highest, which is why towards the end of the summer, when it starts to cool off a little bit and it's not so bad, that's when I start to get a burst of energy. And if you write these things down for yourself, it will help you to be able to plan your life according to the cycles, right? So I will plan doing big projects at this time of year. I'll plan on maybe even overcoming the bigger hurdles out of the things that I know that I'm going to be challenged on, you know. Maybe I could push some of those things to this time. You can also do it with your moon cycle too, right? So how your hormones are going to be. All right. Bliss. Bliss is worth creating from, worth creating for, worth creating from. I love this deck. This is the Sacred Creators Oracle deck. I don't know if you can see that. This is a beautiful deck. A friend of mine that I used to watch do readings, she used to do a lot of readings online. She doesn't do them as much as anymore, but she's a friend of mine. When I had first gotten home from treatment the first time and I was just healing, and I used to sit and watch her do readings all the time. And this is a deck that she had that I was in love with, and I just got it this year. So that was like 2018. And so I just finally bought it for myself because I absolutely love the deck. But for all that time, it took me to actually get a deck. I'm in love with it. So find your sacred flow is the no, that's not right. It's not find your sacred flow. It's bliss. I was looking at the wrong number. Hang on. I'm like, wait a minute. That doesn't match. Hold on. The cards are numbered, and I was looking at the page number and not the card number. See how I can get a little confusing here. Okay, bliss. And we were just talking about bliss. We were just talking about making decisions this month for the long term, knowing that we are looking for bliss in the long run. We are looking for joy in the long term. So even if we have to make little sacrifices now, or even if we have to slow down rather than speed up right now in order to make this a sustainable thing that we're doing, it's worth it. Bliss is worth creating for, from. It's worth creating for. Essential meanings are being in flow with the universe, like joy, like I said, creating passionately, being on purpose. So creating intentionally, coming from the heart space, finding the things that make your heart sing, finding those things that make you passionate and that bring more bliss into your life on a daily basis. The more you feel a state of bliss, the more you'll manifest a state of bliss in your life. And as far as self-care goes, the minute that you drop your anchor, you have to really believe in your dream. So being unsure of your abilities to manifest consistently, or actually manifesting are actually manifesting things that are unstable for the future, right? So we want to not second guess ourselves. We want to make sure that we're remembering throughout this month that bliss attracts bliss, right? So when you decide to live with bliss in your heart and to find your joy on a regular basis, you call more of the good stuff into your life. Now, this doesn't have to be toxic positivity, but the better you feel, the better the things that happen for you are going to feel. This is basically manifestation 101. And conveniently as this works, bliss is the end game. That's the long-term gain that's what we're looking for. That's what we're looking for in the long run. And it's the vehicle to get you there at the same time, right? So you embrace the thing before you have the thing, right? So you feel the thing before you have the thing so that you can come into full manifestation of the thing. It's the feeling as if, or pretending as if, or being the same vibration as what it is that you want, right? So this is tapping into the quantum. This is tapping into the limitless and non-linear version of our life, of ourselves. Think about it. So if you could feel bliss on a regular basis, wouldn't you think that that would help you to build things a lot quicker? Wouldn't you think that you would dream a lot more, right? Wouldn't you want to stay in that creative flow more often? And you would think that you'd be able to build things a lot quicker that way, right? And you would feel like you were a whole lot closer to creating all your dreams, and that they were way more possible if you remembered that you have bliss on tap within you at any point in time. And you just have to remember to tap into it. Do you desire a higher tolerance for risk? Do you desire increased positivity to rid your system of toxins and stress? Do you that's funny because that's what I'm focused on right now. I am very detox minded at the moment. Can you rewire your brain to pump out the happy hormones and make it all possible? So the thing is, the secret is to find more joy. To find more joy in your daily life, and to give yourself, that will give you an edge when you're facing challenges. If you've been working on this already, then keep going. You're going in the right direction. And if you've been neglecting some aspect of your self-care, this card is a loving wake-up that your creativity may be suffering because of your current mindset, your mental health, or your physical vitality, or waning commitment to your daily practice. It's not easy, but we need to practice what we preach. If we want to call in all these wonderful things that we desire, and we want to have this life that we desire, that's on our terms, and that we build with intention, then we have to be intentional. If we're not intentional about it and we're not following those steps, then we're not going to get there, right? And even if that means that we need to find someone that will hold us accountable to our own shit, that will show up every day, that will do it, that will do the work. It's time to do the work, sweet soul. Because writing your life, rewiring your life for joyful bliss is your best success strategy. Wiring your life for joyful bliss. If there is something, a person, a belief, a feeling, or a worry that's getting in the way of your bliss, how about you let it go? In what way can you let it go? What one small action can you take today that will nourish your spirit? Self-care is going to be big this month. It came up in this card. It came up in that reading. What's one small action that you can take today? And what have you been neglecting? Is there anything that you've been neglecting that you should be focused on? And how can you open up your schedule to include some soul time for yourself on a daily basis, where you're going to do your practice, right? Or where you're going to do your self-care, or where you're going to spend that time meditating, or you're going to intentionally call on gratitude and joy and good feelings. Meditation, nutrition, exercise. What's the medicine that your soul is longing for right now? I recommend sitting with yourself and asking yourself that question. Your own medicine is always the medicine that's best for you. You are your own healer. There is no healer on this planet that can heal you There are only those who can lead you to learn how to do your own self-healing. And I am very much the type of person who can know how to get someplace and can have all the steps. But if I don't have someone holding my hand and keeping me accountable, then I'm not going to do it. Even when it is aligned with my core desires and my core values. Why? Because humans don't like being uncomfortable. And that's how our brain works. We self-sabotage ourselves from doing what we know we should be doing. It sucks. But once we know that about ourselves, then we can use that as leverage, right, to get to the next point. So what do we need? Well, that's why I have coaches. I have 2 right now for different things. But it's having someone outside of you to keep you accountable to yourself, to hold you to a higher standard beyond what you even think you're capable of doing for yourself, right? It's that person who always sees your I'm having a hard time coming up with the right words today, that sees your what's possible for you, that sees your ability, your, oh my gosh, why can't I think of the right word today? Yeah, that sees what you're capable of, that sees your potential. That's the word I was looking for. So yeah, who is it that sees your potential, and how can you find a way to hold yourself accountable on a regular basis? And how can you, what practice or plan can you bring into your life that will remind you or keep you doing your practice, right? So what is it? This is why I used manifestation and intuition and earth magic. Now, when you think about someone who is reinventing their life coming out of serious addiction and who's, gotten sober and who's looking to heal themselves and rebuild their life and rebuild their relationships and rebuild their ability to take care of themselves financially and all of those things, you do not think earth magic, manifestation skills, and intuition. You don't think of those things. Why? Because there's a lot of different things that you could use to get from point A to point B. There's a lot of different modalities. There's a lot of different paths to get to the final destination. The one that's going to work the best for you is the one that you're the most interested in. It's going to be the one that you were going to do every day because you just enjoy doing it so much. It's going to be the thing that you're passionate about, the thing that you're the most into. And what's going to help you the most is finding the people or the person or the inspiration to hold yourself accountable, because that's what you feel called to do. It's going to be those things, those things that light you up and the things that you enjoy. We're not going to force ourselves to do things that we don't want to do, especially when we're struggling. We just don't do that. And so it's about keeping yourself accountable and having someone to hold you accountable and having someone to hold you to that higher standard of yourself. But it's also about choosing the things that light you up as your boat to get from point A to point B, as your method of transportation. So use the car that you like. Use the one that you're attracted to. Use the one that you're going to be excited every day to wake up and get to drive, right? So for you that might be meditation, or for you that might be earth magic, or it might be AA, or it might be therapy, or it might be hypnotherapy, or it could be a lot of things. But what is it that lights you up? What is it that you're not going to forget to think about tomorrow? And how can you take that tool and use that tool to make sure that you're feeling bliss, or that you can at least know how to tap into that bliss whenever it's necessary? And don't forget, that whole reading told us that we have to think about long term right now. So what is it that's going to last? What is it that we're going to be interested in tomorrow and the next day and the day after that, not just what's interesting to us today? I love you all. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will be back tomorrow afternoon to do some personal readings for about a half an hour. Alrighty, I'll see you guys then. Have a good one.